Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're so glad that everyone is here tonight. I'm Dave Jordan from WITN-TV. We're so glad that you are here for the ECVC banquet. I don't know about you, but I'm glad I'm inside and not outside tonight. Much cooler in here. But we're going to have a great evening tonight, and so we're happy that you're all here for this celebration this evening. One real quick thing I do want to mention, and that is just to silence your cell phones if you could do that so that we have full attention up here. I know that you might want to check it for that score tonight. There's a football game I hear going on. You can do that with it silenced. I might do that myself. Anyway, we're going to get on with the banquet here tonight, and I'm so pleased to be with you this evening. This is the 54th anniversary banquet for ECVC. It's always an evening that promises to be great and inspiring. ECVC holds its anniversary banquet in October to celebrate National Disabilities Employment Awareness Month, and this year the theme is the right talent right now. So let's get the evening moving tonight. It's my honor to introduce you to you, the Vice President for ECVC, Mr. Jason Thomas.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us for this celebration of such a vibrant sector of our nation's workforce. ECVC's 54th anniversary banquet. In fact, ECVC's entire mission is focused on seeing capabilities where others see disabilities. I really do appreciate you being here tonight. As Dave alluded to, I know you have options of how you might spend your Thursday night, especially this Thursday night for the locals. But we're so confident in our ability to turn out a crowd that we decided to go head-to-head with ECU football this year, and I think we did pretty well. We've got a great turnout. We are big Pirate fans. We're also an advertising partner with ECU Athletics through our relationship with IMG Sports. A couple of months ago, Ellen Jackson and I attended IMG's Pirate football kickoff event at Mellow Mushroom. We had just learned that the Temple game, which was supposed to be this Saturday, had been moved to Thursday night so ESPN could feature the game nationally. So we had a chance to meet Coach Mike Houston, had an opportunity to share ECVC's story with him. And then, with a straight face, Ellen told Coach Houston he needed to reschedule his football game. Coach Houston was very gracious in declining Ellen's suggestion. By the way, Ellen heads up our banquet committee. She's in the corner table back there. Ellen, if you would stand up somewhere. She's actually already standing up. Ellen heads up our banquet committee. She's got a great team of folks helping her. She puts a great deal of time and effort into making sure that tonight is a success. So thank you, Ellen, and everyone who serves on the committee. October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Almost 6 million persons with disabilities participate in the American workforce. This year, the unemployment rate for persons with disabilities is at a historic low. ECVC is proud of our role in that success, and we're proud to be the largest employer of persons with disabilities in Eastern North Carolina. As one of Pitt County's largest manufacturing employers, we serve a number of federal and local customers. We're the largest supplier of several products to the U.S. military. We package batteries from brand name manufacturers, several of whom are here tonight and helped sponsor this event. We're also a prime manufacturer of battery terminal adapters that are used on various types of military and industrial vehicles, and we're a prime manufacturer of picture frames. In addition, we assemble, package, warehouse, and ship a variety of commercial products for companies located right here in Pitt County and around the world. We couldn't win or keep any of these contracts, federal or commercial, if we were not able to meet and exceed our customers' needs. ECVC does all of this and more at our 140,000 square foot production facility on North Green Street here in Greenville. We utilize some of the most cutting-edge equipment and creative engineering concepts so that our employees can deliver repeatable and sustainable results. Nothing truly tells our story better than a tour of our facilities. We gave a couple of those today. We have a new commercial spot that gives a mini virtual tour and showcases some of our equipment and capabilities. This will begin running on WITN very soon, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek right now.
Does your business need a full-scale packaging, assembly, or warehousing partner? ECVC is Eastern Carolina's local solution. For over 50 years, we've partnered with local and international businesses to meet their warehousing, assembly, packaging, specialized cutting, and shipping needs. ECVC also has several large federal contracts supplying products to our armed forces and civilian agencies. With our years of experience and cost-effective techniques, we can help expand your business and increase your profitability. Call us today and let ECVC be the smart and easy choice for your business. ECVC, jobs with purpose.
Thank you, and thanks to WITN for producing that commercial for us. ECVC also performs recycling and janitorial work for Pitt County government and several local businesses, and we do on-site custom framing and for retail and commercial customers, and several colleges and universities in our custom frame shop. While ECVC is a nonprofit corporation, we are not a charity. We generate all of our revenue from these businesses that I've mentioned and others. The proceeds from ticket sales and sponsorships for tonight's banquet are used to pay for the event itself so that we can celebrate the contributions that persons with disabilities make to our local and our national workforce. So I've told you about a lot of the things that go on at ECVC, but our mission extends far beyond our walls. Last year, we placed more than 80 workers with disabilities at a variety of different companies in Pitt County and beyond. We train these individuals. We work with prospective employers to identify vacancies that we can fill, and we follow up with the employers and employees to provide service and support as needed to ensure a productive employment relationship. There are a number of benefits of hiring someone with a disability, and some of them may surprise you. People with disabilities have an overall higher job retention rate. They're less likely to get into work-related accidents. Workers with disabilities will increase diversity in the workplace. Businesses that hire people with disabilities may receive tax credits or incentives. So I encourage you to consider someone with a disability in your next hiring decision. Our job placement team will be happy to work with you and is a great asset to both your company and the employee. Next, I would like to recognize our elected and appointed officials who are here this evening. If you wouldn't mind, please stand when I call your name. Greenville Mayor P.J. Connolly. Greenville City Council Member and Mayor Pro Tem Rose Glover. Greenville City Council Member Monica Daniels. We have several Pitt County Commissioners here this evening. Melvin McLawhorn. Melvin is also on our board. Thank you, Melvin. Pitt County Commissioner Mary Perkins Williams. And Beth Ward. Pitt County Manager Scott Elliott. Pitt Community College President Dr. Lawrence Rouse. Dr. Rouse is also on our board. From Senator Richard Burr's office, Betty Jo Shepard. and from Senator Tom Tillis's office, Trey Lewis. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, please accept my apologies. And I'd like to again thank Trey for arranging Senator Tillis's visit to ECVC back in August. We very much appreciate your support. Trey's also a great customer in our custom frame shop. We have several other members from ECVC's board and members from our foundation board in attendance. If you're on either board, please stand. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to thank our many sponsors. We couldn't pull this evening off without you. We appreciate all of your support. Special thanks to WITN and to Dave Jordan, and I'm very excited about our guest speaker this evening, Kathy Buckley, who I had a chance to meet this afternoon. She's very funny, and I think you're really going to enjoy her. Dave will introduce Kathy and tell you more about her background later in the program. Now I'd like to invite Reverend Rhonda Grant Jordan to come forward and give our invocation.
Good evening. Please bow with me in prayer. Almighty everlasting Creator, you who are our guide and guardian, we know that it's in you that we live and move and have our being, and for this we are thankful. We're also thankful that you have not abandoned us to the dim light of our human wisdom, but you reveal to us noble and excellent precepts demonstrated for us through those we honor this evening, and whose gifts show us how to live our lives with courage and tenacity. We humbly ask that you continue to grant each of us piety of heart and strength of purpose and character, so that no selfish passion may hinder us from our true purpose. Enable us to move perfectly to do your work and to serve our neighbors, whoever and wherever they are. And in doing so, we worship you not only with our lips, but in word and deed. It is only then that we fulfill your will. We ask that you bless this food before us, the friends around us, the love between us, and your presence among us. I ask this in the name of the one that I love and worship, Jesus Christ the Lord. Amen.
Good evening once again, everyone. Good evening once again. We're going to continue on with our program. Please continue to enjoy your meal and your dessert. We do want to mention as we get started here again that we have a 65-inch smart television, as you see over here, and we're going to be drawing that tonight. So if you have a ticket, please hold on to that. Hopefully you do have a ticket. Hold on to that, and we'll be doing that at the end of the evening tonight. We also want to take a moment right now to recognize our sponsors. So would representatives from these companies please stand and remain standing when we call your company? And audience, if you could please hold your applause until everyone is standing, we would appreciate that. Thank you. Our diamond sponsor tonight is Energizer. Our spirit sponsor is WITN. Platinum sponsor is Essendent, Southern Bank. Our gold sponsor is Town Insurance. Silver sponsor is Package Craft, Panasonic Energy Corporation of America, Service Roofing and Sheet Metal Company. Bronze sponsor, Burger King, Carroll's Corporation, Bill Good Photography, Grady White Boats, North Carolina Molding Company, Practicon, Saft America, and Trade Family Foundation. Thank you to all of our sponsors and friends of ECVC. Thank you very much. Right now, on to another highlight for the evening. Please direct your attention to the screens for a video about our 2019 Employee Success Story of the Year award winner.
I was looking for work, and I heard about VR, and I went there.
He was very gracious in accepting help with completing applications, with practicing interviewing, and with that graciousness, he was able to do what he needed to do to feel confident when he went into interviews and speak with employers.
And she told me about ECVC, and I decided I wanted to go to work with them.
As the job developer, I met with Mr. Perlie to find out the types of jobs he would be interested in. I went to various businesses, and in the process met with Levain at the McDonald's on 10th Street. And he was very interested in talking with Mr. Perlie about the vac cleaning position.
When Mr. Perlie came here for his interview, we sat down and talked for maybe like 5 or 6 minutes. He explained to me what he was looking for, and I kind of felt the positive vibe and energy that he wanted to actually be here and actually be a part of the team, which was refreshing when you run into people on a daily basis that actually don't want to be here. They're just looking for a job.
I attended the interview with Mr. Perlie. I went to work with him on his first day and helped him with his new hire paperwork, and I assisted him with his training, helping him learn how to do all of his required job tasks.
Mr. Perlie's first day, he was really nervous, and we showed him how to do the job that we had asked him to do, and it took just a little while to catch on because he was really nervous that he wanted to do it right the first time, and then once he got it, he did it with no problem. It was like 2 days, 3 days later, and he was excited that he could do it all himself.
As a community support specialist, I would go out to McDonald's and speak with Mr. Perlie's managers and check up on Mr. Perlie. And at every visit, everyone had nice things to say about Mr. Perlie. He was always a dedicated worker. He showed up on time. He was the first one to arrive, sometimes the last one to leave. He was just a go-getter, just very pleasant to work with.
Mr. Perlie is a very good worker. Soon when Mr. Perlie come in, Mr. Perlie goes straight to work. Sometimes you don't have to ask him to do nothing, he just do it. If he sees somebody that can't reach something, needs to get something down, he'll do it for him. He'll cook pies for the kitchen and stuff like that. He's very helpful.
I applied for cleaning. I saw that it was a lot of cleaning to be done. And since I've been here at McDonald's, I learned a lot of other things. Now I'm cooking fries, hash browns. I cook the meat in the back on the other side, crispy chicken, baked chicken, tenders, and nuggets. What I like about my job, I can move around and do different things.
He has one of the cleanest fry stations we have in all of our stores, although they're all clean, but he keeps a very good upkeep on his. He's here to take care of business with his fry station. He does an excellent job.
Since Mr. Perlie been in the store, this has probably been the cleanest store I've seen in a long time. When Mr. Perlie is on it, Mr. Perlie is on it. He gets the job done, he gets the job done right.
He's very detailed in what he does, and he enjoys what he does. He's a team player. He's always doing the extra to help the team out.
Best team player I've seen in a long time when it comes to being around a store in an environment like this. It's never a problem for him to help anybody at all. To be honest, I have to get him to stop calling me Mister because he's a little older than me. But it's a respect thing, it's always respect.
I remember one time on one of my visits that his manager had let me know that Mr. Perlie had won the Employee of the Month award, and he was very pleased and excited. So I had him take a picture with his award, and it was just I was so happy for him because I know he worked hard and he really deserved that honor.
Oh, they're so nice. They're so nice to me. I guess because I'm older. They really respect me. The supervisors, Miss April, Miss Carolyn, and Levain, the best I ever had.
Mr. Perlie, I'm very excited for you that you were selected as Employee Success Story of the Year with ECVC. You deserve it. You have proven yourself to be a good worker, and we are pleased that we have had the experience to be able to work with you.
Congratulations, Mr. Perlie. We're so proud of you.
Congratulations, Mr. Perlie, on receiving the 2019 Employee Success Story of the Year. You're very deserving of it, and I'm so proud of you.
Yay! Congratulations, Mr. Perlie, on winning this year's Employee of the Year. We love you. McDonald's love you. Keep rocking it. Keep doing what you do. Keep being you. Yay!
Congratulations, Mr. Perlie, for 2019 Employee Success Award.
Mr. Perlie, congratulations on being awarded the Employee of the Year, man. I think you deserve it. Awesome individual. Been a pleasure since meeting you that first day to have you in the store and to be around. And I wish nothing but the best for you, man. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Perlie. You do deserve this award for this year. I hope you can get many more awards from now on. And we love you, Mr. Perlie, here at McDonald's.
Mr. Perlie, we congratulate you today. We're happy to have you as a part of our team and continue to stay on board with us.
I want to thank VR. I want to thank ECVC for nominating me for the Employee of the Year. I love all y'all guys, and it means a lot to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 ECVC Employee Success Story of the Year, Perlie Gregg.
Hello, I'm Jim Clement, Chairman of ECVC's Board of Directors, and one of my distinct honors every year is to present this award. I'm very excited to give it to you tonight. What can I say? Wow, everyone here has seen the video, and now we understand why you were selected. What an impressive work ethic, what a role model you set for all of us, and you are most deserving of this award. Mr. Perlie, your family, co-workers, friends, ECVC, all of us here, you do a great job, and we're very, very proud of you tonight. We can see that you take pride in yourself and your family and what you do at work. So I have a little something for you here tonight. For your accomplishments and perseverance in overcoming challenges in the workplace, I'm proud to present you with ECVC's Success Story of the Year Award for 2019. They say you don't talk much.
I just would like to thank everybody.
Congratulations, Mr. Perlie. Great job. All right, now on to our special guest speaker for tonight. As one of the most prominent comedians with a disability working today, we're very honored tonight to have Kathy Buckley with us this evening. In addition to being a comedian, actress, writer, and director, author of the heartfelt and hilarious book, If You Could Hear What I See, and humanitarian. She is also a motivational diversity speaker for one of the world's largest beauty products companies. We are excited tonight to hear her message to us on making the best of the worst through laughter. Please join me in welcoming tonight Kathy to the stage.
Is it on? I love it when deaf people have to do this. Hello, is it on? Who's this? Who are my interpreters? I didn't get to meet them tonight. It's you and you, the two of you? Your hands are going to be tired by the time I'm done. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah? Was that not an awesome meal? And was that pie just wrong? I ain't never had a piece of pie like that before. I just took a small bite because I was afraid if I ate the whole thing, I'd be in a coma right now. So yes, it's true, I am hearing impaired. No, I am not deaf. I just don't listen. Get a load of this. I paid $4,000 for my hearing devices, and I'm thinking for another $1,000, I could have had that boob job. Not like I'm going to hear through my chest. What? When I was born RH negative, and then a couple years later, I developed spinal meningitis. Doctors told my family, quote, that I would be a slow learner and I would not grow to be any taller than 5'2". I am 6 foot tall. And I was in a school for retardation for 2 years before they found out it was just a hearing loss, and they called me slow. In that school, my best friend was a little Asian girl. She was blind. I have no concept of blindness means because my eyes are my life. But every day we would have lunch together. She'd have these great barbecue beef sandwiches, and I'd have these boring peanut butter and jelly. So every day we would exchange lunch. Now, what I didn't realize until I got older, she never saw me exchange those lunches. But then again, I never heard her complain about it either. Now, some people think that my hearing impairment is a handicap. Me, whenever I'm with the Italian side of my family, we're talking a perfect gift here. Can you imagine a hearing impaired child who's just learning how to read lips and to be with a bunch of Italians whose mouths are going 80 miles an hour? And their hands. Heaven only knows what their hands were saying. I myself was just learning sign language. I figured, well, maybe they're signing with a lisp. One of the first signs that I did learn as a child was good morning. And I got to tell you, as a kid, I was so excited that I could communicate that the very next family reunion, I went up to everybody and I signed, good morning. I guess you can say they're not morning people. Now, lip reading is my main source of communication, and I do have to go up to people sometime and say, excuse me, but I do lip read. And I usually get this, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I have a degree in dentistry and I'm lip reading cavities over here. Do you ever lip read your grandpa when he takes his teeth out? It's like lip reading a little butthole. And I spent a good 13 years with some of the top speech therapists in this country, just learning how to talk so people would understand me, and now they all think I'm from New York. My hearing impairment is not my handicap. Being sexually frustrated, now there's a handicap. I've not had a date in 3.5 years. Now, I don't know if it's because I haven't heard the phone ring or what. But I, too, would like to hear what my date said to me at night, but I just can't hear in the dark. So I wear a little miner's cap with a bright white light right here. Tell me you love me. Come on, put your lips on the light. Say it. I love you. One of my favorite things that I love is when a man kisses me on the neck. Oh, yeah. Works his way up to my ear, sticks his tongue in my ear, and gets electrocuted. Then I wonder why the phone doesn't ring, huh? I travel all the time on behalf of the government for the ADA law. You guys know what the ADA law is, don't you? It's a law to enforce that all people with disabilities will have equal rights opportunities in education, transportation, recreation, and employment. And I truly believe if you wish to make an establishment accessible for someone with a disability, ask an individual with that challenge what is needed. Otherwise, you might be wasting time and money, right? Because I was in Iowa driving a car, I got hungry. I went to a drive-through restaurant. I rolled down the window. It was an old rental car, okay? I don't live there. The window, what's outside the window? I went to a drive-through restaurant. What's here? The menu, right? It was in Braille for the blinds. Think about it. I'm driving. Pretty much explains the little bumps on the highway for you, don't you think? I was so surprised. I yelled into the speaker. And I said, I'm deaf, I can't hear, and I cannot read Braille. So when I come up to the window, just throw food into the car, okay? I was in St. Louis for a graduation for independent living. This is where people with disabilities have gotten their own job and their apartment. At this graduation, they had a gag gift party. Do you know what a gag gift party is? It's when they give you the opposite of what you need. They gave a blind man a Rubik's Cube. David was in the corner all night long going, hey, is this it? How about that? They gave a woman with Alzheimer's Trivia Pursuit. That was wrong. I was hosting the event. They gave me a game called Name That Tune. It's been 4 years and I still can't nail it. And then there was Michael. You see, I work with people with disabilities all over the world. And I'm really pretty good at picking up conditions when I see it, but I didn't know why Michael was at this graduation. Apparently, he was an amputee. He had artificial limbs on. I did not know this. They gave him that game Twister. Do you know what I'm talking about? I offered to play the game with him. He takes the lid off. He takes the plastic thing. He spreads it on the floor. He spins it. Right foot and blue. Ah! Don't ever worry about what people don't have. Worry about what they're going to do with what they do have. But I travel all the time, and one of the things that I love about traveling, God. He has the most wonderful way of putting some of the most extraordinary people in my path. Anybody here been to Chattanooga, Tennessee? Yeah? Don't go back. I'm still amazed at the racism that can go on in this crazy country of ours. And I got a hotel called the Choo Choo. That in itself should have sent me on home. The hotel clerk hits the bell for my bellhop to come and get my bags. My bellhop was the skinny, little black man, 70, maybe 80 years old, coming up to the desk. Bow-legged as I've ever seen on a human being. He walked the speed of a turtle, and his pants was hiked up to here. Ma'am, my name is John, and my job is to get you back to your room. John, honey, my bags are bigger than you. I go, that's okay, John, I can take my own bags. He goes, no, ma'am, it's my job to get you back to your room. I said, John, sweetheart, by the time you get my bag to my room, my plane is going to be taken off again. He goes, no, ma'am, I get them there by Thursday. Now, I didn't feel right about letting John take my bag. But then again, who am I to take his job away from him? Probably the very thing that's keeping him going, right? But I still didn't feel right about it. So I told him, I said, you know what, John? I got wheels on my bags. I can take my own bags, sweetheart. He goes, no, ma'am, it's my, I know. It's your job to get my bag to my room. So I grabbed my bag with one hand, stuck John under my armpit, and walked out the lobby. I fell in love with John. He was a beautiful old soul. And every time I'd go down to the lobby, I'd be like, hey, John, how you doing, John? I'm grabbing him, I'm hugging him, I'm kissing him all over his little face, and he's like, get this white woman off of me. On the third day, John looks at me square in the eye and he goes, ma'am, do you know I was black? Okay, John, when did this happen? I go, does it hurt? Do you know what he said? Sometimes. He goes, what about you, ma'am? I go to me. He said, being deaf and all. He goes, does it hurt? Yeah, John. Sometimes, honey. He goes, ma'am, you can't be kissing on me like that down here. People are going to be talking at you. I go, it's okay, John, I'm deaf. I can hear a darn thing they say. All anybody ever wants out of life is to be treated with respect. But in order to be treated with respect, you have to be able to give it. And in order to give it, you have to have it for yourself, first and foremost. Otherwise, you don't have the gift to share. It's that simple. Now, do you guys know who Howard Stern is? That's when I looked to the heaven and I said, okay, God, what's happening here? Howard Stern, I did not know who he was. You see, I can't hear radio. Anybody here does not know who Howard Stern is? Okay, y'all scaring the hell out of me right now. I thought you all sweet people. Now you got a different mind going here. Howard Stern was looking for me. I can't hear radio. I can hear music because I can feel the vibration of music. But if somebody is talking on the radio, I don't understand what they're saying. So basically, I'm waiting for Sony to come out with a radio with big floppy lips. Anyway, Howard was looking for me. He wanted to know who the deaf comedian was. Apparently, he was trying to locate me through the radio. I get a phone call from my agent. My agent goes, hey, Kathy, would you be willing to go to New York and do an interview with Howard Stern? I'm like, yeah, sure. Is he a nice guy? I knew nothing about this man. I walked into the studio. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, whoa, who doesn't do your hair? The man talked dirty. Did you know that? He talked dirty. All he talked about was sex, 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 sex. That's all he would talk about. I did not know you could do that on the radio. Boy, I wish I could hear radio. He kept asking me personal questions. So who you getting it on with? Who you dating? Are you married? No, Howard, I'm deaf. I'm not dumb. He even asked me if I would date a man with a disability. I said, I'd consider going out with you. You travel all over the country and you learn a lot of things. But is it not true we all pass judgment? And 9 times out of 10, when we pass a judgment, it's a negative concept, correct? Well, I passed a judgment on a very lovely lady. I was invited to Washington, D.C. to perform at the Kennedy Center for some kind of award presentation. When I got there, the stage manager of the show asked me to go to the green room. He said, I need to be quiet in this room because the noise from this room can travel onto the stage. Now, I myself have never seen noise travel. They say this stuff happens, I go along with it. I go into the green room, and in the green room is a woman. She's in a wheelchair. She's a quadriplegic. My first judgment I passed upon her was, my gosh, what kind of a life is this? She can't move, she can't walk, she can't talk. She had nothing to contribute to society. In 5 seconds or less, I had this woman pegged for death, me. But me being who I am, I went up to her and I said, hi, how are you? She started to open her eyes. At first, I was taken back. I was like, oh, crap, what did I do now? Hello, how are you? And her eyes started to open up really wide. When her eyes got really wide, her assistant came by. She said, when she opens her eyes, it means yes. When she closes her eyes, it means no. I said, great, I spent my whole life learning how to read lips, now I gotta go to school for some eyelids over here. When I said that, the woman in the wheelchair started to laugh. It was a horrendous sound. It was this, But to me, it was the most beautiful sound I ever heard. I realized right then and there, I can communicate with her. Now, what better person to tell all your jokes to than somebody who cannot heckle you? So here you have Ruth and I in the middle of this green room, and all you can hear is this, and I'm going, come on, Ruth, let's get some dancing shoes on. Let's get out of here. And she's, The stage manager is screaming, get that deaf broad away from the quad. That night, Ruth received an award. She wrote 2 top-selling books with the blink of an eye. With today's technology, she too has a computer. It's called a word board. So hook it up to the chest, wire goes to the eyelids, the letters blink, she sees the one she wants, she blinks her eyes, it goes into the computer. 2 top-selling books. I haven't even read a book then. I graduated from high school with a 1-point average. Nobody bothered to tell me we were collecting points. That night, Ruth had a computer printout for me, and it said on it, "Thank you so much for making me laugh, but more than anything else, thank you for treating me as an equal to anyone else." Well, I took that piece of paper and I wrote on the back of it, and I handed it to her. I said, "There, that's your bill for the entertainment." She said, Around the corner comes a gentleman in a wheelchair. He has cerebral palsy. He has no front teeth. Me being who I am, where the hell are your teeth? Man starts to laugh. It's her husband. She's married. I couldn't believe it. I looked her square in the eye and I said, "You know what, Ruth? I came in here tonight and I thought to myself, my gosh, what kind of a life is this? Only because I didn't think I could live it if I was in this situation. Here you wrote 2 top-selling books. I don't like to read. You're married. I can't even get a date." I said, "I hope you get pink eye." Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Not wrong. Moral of the story is, please, don't pass judgment upon anyone you wouldn't want passed upon yourselves, because believe me when I tell you, there's no limit to what any human being can possibly do with their lives if given the opportunity. How many in this room would like to know the little bit of the truth about Ruth? How many would like to know? If you want to know, put your hands up. If you don't, get the hell out of here. Ruth's story is because one person made a judgment. And I want you to remember something. When you pass a judgment on someone, just remember, it doesn't define them, it defines you. If you feel the need to put limitations on another human being to gain significance within yourself, then it's time to look in the mirror and find out what's missing in your life. No one has the right to put limitations on another human being. It's that plain and simple. But one person, I don't know if it was a doctor, a therapist, or what, but one person made the judgment that because Ruth's little body was crippled, you see, she was born an able-bodied baby. At 5 weeks old, she contracted some kind of a high fever, and she got cerebral palsy so severe her body locked. She wasn't in a regular wheelchair. She was in what they call a reclining chair. Her little legs were locked like this. Her arms were in front of her like this. She had her head in a brace. She could only see one way. She had these big crooked teeth, and the 2 front teeth were missing. I always tease her that's why she married her husband. If you're not used to being around people who are different from you, people tend to shy away. And I'm going to tell you, I see that as a form of bullying. Everybody wants to be accepted in this world. But when I walked into the green room that night, Ruth was pushed up against the wall. People were having hors d'oeuvres and champagne and beaded gowns and tuxedos, and Ruth was up against the wall. Now, I know what it's like to be rejected from society over something I have no control over, so it's my nature to go and make that person feel comfortable. But when I went up to her and I said, "Hi, how are you?" and she didn't answer me, I'm going to be honest with you, I freaked out. I spent my whole life learning how to communicate. The least she could do is say hello. And when she didn't, I panicked, and I stepped away. And when I stepped away, I looked at the room and I thought to myself, do I have to be like everybody else and ignore her? So when I went back the second time, and I said, "Hey, seriously, how are you?" And I said that, she blinked her eyes, and her assistant explained to me how she communicated with yes or no questions. I was okay with that. But when I said that about lip reading her eyelids, and that laugh, something happened. I no longer saw the body. I saw the spirit in the body. And I started messing with her. Ruth's story is she was institutionalized for over 30 years of her life because one person made a judgment that because her body was crippled, so was her mind. And because of that, for 30 years of her life, she was treated as a 14-month-old infant. 30 years of limitations of her life. What happened was one day, in the institution. She was in the hallway. They take the patients out of the room, and she was in the hallway while they clean up the room. Her nurse was training a new nurse, and she told that new nurse a joke, and Ruth went, eh, eh. But you see, Ruth had to be shot up anywhere from 3, maybe sometimes 5 times a day with muscle relaxers just so she could breathe. So when Ruth made the sound, they didn't know it was laughter. She thought she was having a hard time breathing. And she goes, hold on, I gotta go get a syringe, hold on. Well, the new nurse goes, no, wait a minute. And she tells a joke, and Ruth laughed again. At 30-something years old, they saw there was more to her than meet the eye. So the power of judgment can last a long time. Ruth had a friend. His name was Stephen Kaplan. He was a lawyer. I didn't know you can have a lawyer for a friend. Did I get you where it hurt the most? I got me a lawyer up front. Somebody save me. But he came 5 days a week. And she didn't have a computer when she wrote her first book. I lied to you. It's what I do. Get used to it. He made this amazing poster board, and on the poster board were all these words that she knew, locations, people's names, stuff like that. And he would come, and she would sit there and stare at the board. And he would try to figure out what words she's staring at. He goes, your mom? And she'll blink her eyes once for yes or twice for no. Took them 5 years to write the book. I raised my eyes to say yes. Talk about a friendship. Talk about a commitment. Talk about believing in someone. Talk about perseverance and keeping going with them. She wrote a book. I raised my eyes to say yes. She had a dream. You know what a dream was? It wasn't pole dancing. That was my dream. I ended up being the pole. Her dream was to change the law. She wanted people to look at people with physical disability different from mental challenging disabilities. She had a dream. She wanted to change things. She wanted to change laws. She wanted to be somebody to help somebody out. But she had no voice. She did get the computer word board. And when she got it, she wrote this amazing advocacy speech. She was freaking brilliant. But she still had no voice. So her assistant spoke it into a tape recorder. So that when they wheeled her onto the stage, the tape recorder would be on her wheelchair and the microphone down there. Sarah would come and push the button for the message to go out. Now you would think that's pretty smart, right? But in her case it wasn't, because she was hard to look at. So when they wheel her out like this, and she's staring at the audience, she's trying to make a connection with society. She's looking for acceptance. But the audience is doing this. Nobody would look at her. And as soon as the message was over with, everybody left the room. Well, while she's going through that, I'm in Hollywood. I'm doing my thing. I'm traveling the world, comedy, doing television, movies. I'm doing my thing. Well, I had to do the Tonight Show for the 3rd time. And when you do the Tonight Show, you do 4 minutes, but you have to okay the 4 minutes. I asked if I can do my Ruth bit. They said no. I said, why? Well, it's a handicap thing. You know, people may take offense to it. Do you know where the word handicap came from? Cap in hand, begging for money. Talk about putting limitations on someone. Did you ever have something in your heart you really, really want to do? You really want to do, but somebody comes to you and says, nah, you better not. What happens? You end up in your head, right? And you start thinking, well, should I or shouldn't I? I have a belief system, and that is when my heart has a strong desire to do something, the Holy Spirit is guiding me, and I will not deny my spirit. And besides, the show is taped live. I did it on the Tonight Show. Didn't think anything of it, did my thing. 2 days later, I get a phone call. Hello. Who's this? Sarah. Oh my God, Ruth is assistant. Yes, how's Ruth doing? She told me how frustrated she was. She's been going up trying to get this message out, but nobody would look or pay attention to her. I go, I am so sorry. Is there anything I can do? She goes, yeah, she said she saw you on the Tonight Show. Oh, crap. When did she start staying up late? I got the best compliment I could have ever gotten in my life. She said that Ruth wrote that it was the first time that her and her husband ever felt validated as human beings. To find the humor in people's challenges is an acceptance into society. And I said, wow, that's amazing. She wants to know if she can get a copy of the show. I go, why, is she gonna sue me? That's when you would have come into play. So this is how smart Ruth was. She figured if she played the Tonight Show bit before they wheel her onto the stage, we can get the audience to see her through my eyes instead of making a judgment on their own. That's smart. I said, yes, when's you going up? 2 weeks. Where? Virginia. I'm there. So I took the show. They played it up on the monitor. They wheeled Ruth onto the stage, and she had an instant standing ovation. If you could have seen that precious little face, tears are rolling down her eyes, her big smile, well, I think it's a smile, her mouth is always open. But she's sitting there and taking it all in. Sarah puts the message on. People in the audience, she's right, we gotta change the law, we gotta this, we gotta that. She made a difference in the lives of thousands, and for thousands. And all she could do was blink her eyes. You tell me what somebody can't do. Everybody has the potential to learn, to grow, to contribute, if given the opportunity. And that's what this is all about. CEVC is all about that. Why would I know that? Because I was one of the participants when I was young, not here, but in Ohio. I went through vocational rehab. And I had no idea what was going on. I was 8 years old when they found out I was deaf, and they did nothing about it. But because I was in a school for mentally challenged for all those years, my belief system was that I was retarded, because that was the word we used back then. So don't take offense to it. It's just a word that was used back then. And then I was so frustrated and so lost that I'm hiding this secret that I'm so stupid because I don't understand why I'm not comprehending in school. I didn't know we were collecting points. I thought getting 1 point was better than none. When you don't have language, you don't have a connection, you don't know what's going on around you. I was being molested in my home, which is normal for somebody with a hearing loss because people figured you can't tell anybody. I was laying on a beach, sunbathing, when I was 20 years old, getting some color. And the lifeguard Jeep ran me over. Ran over my face, stomach, chest, side, and back. I was laid up for 5 years. I was in and out of a wheelchair for 2.5 years. They said I'd never walk again. I figured I didn't hear them. I got up and I left. Thank you. When I finally started walking again, I got a hold of an old car. I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, an 88 Cutlass. You remember an 88 Cutlass? It's like a boat. Packed that thing up, started driving, had no idea where I was going. I ended up in California, lived in my car for about 3 months, met a young lady, her name was Ann Ablin. And then 2 years later, I found out I had cancer. After a while, you get a little pissed off. I gotta tell you, nobody gets through this life alone. All along the line, there was somebody there. But after I got the cancer, I lived on Social Security disability for quite a long time. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a teacher, but there's no way I could do that. I have a 3rd grade reading level. And somebody mentioned vocational rehab. So I went there. They said they could help me get a job. And I met my counselor, Colleen. I hated her. Do you know why? She was lip reading me. I'm a lip reader. I've never seen another deaf person other than myself and the kid that I grew up with. So when she was lip reading me, I'm like, hey, 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 back off. And she did one of these numbers, and I saw a hearing device. Oh, that's not good. She knew I had a hearing loss. And she said, I can get you into massage therapy school if you get a complete physical and get your hearing test. I go, I do the physical, nobody touches the ears. Then I can't give you the money to go to school. Fine. If you believe in angels, she definitely was one of them. I got my ears tested. All that hiding for over 34 years, I was hiding a secret that I'm stupid, because that's what I was taught to believe. When I got my hearing tested, Michael, my technician, as soon as it was over with, I ran out of the room. He grabbed me and he sat me down in a chair. I had no idea what was going on, and he showed me my audiogram. For the first time, he took something that was invisible and made it visible for me on paper. And he explained, this is why you don't hear on a phone, is because, I go, am I retarded? No, because this is why you don't relate to music. Is my brain slow? No, Kath, the fact remains that you've maintained in the hearing world solely by lip reading says you're very intelligent. Say that again. I was 34 years old when I saw my name and the word intelligent in the same sentence. He gave me my hearing devices. I swore I wasn't going to wear them. I ain't wearing these damn things. You crazy, you know, and all that stuff. Haven't taken them off since. The laughter of an infant, wow, did that do my belly good. See, Michael didn't give me the gift of sound. What he gave me was the gift of identity. And that's what ECVC does. It's about building self-esteem, confidence, giving them the identity. We should all focus more on what is there instead of what's not there when it comes to a human being. We should all start appreciating what we have instead of wanting something we don't have. If your needs are met, what more do you want in life? I am so blessed and grateful to Colleen. I went back like about a couple years after I started doing stand-up. No, she didn't send me to stand-up school, okay? I did get What happened was I got my license as a masseuse. And I worked for a medical chiropractic firm, and I specialized in Lou Gehrig's disease and MS and pregnancy over 40. And I found that laughter was my best medicine in healing. And do you know who my patient was? Jerry Jewell, the comedian who starred in Facts of Life, the first person with a disability ever to star in a sitcom. She moved around so much that I actually had to sit on her butt to work on her. And it was a comedy contest to help raise money for children with cerebral palsy, but my naive mind, I thought I was going to find a cure for her. How do you say thank you to somebody who doesn't know you and yet changes your whole life, changes your perception on your individual self, changes your outlook on life? That's what this is all about. This is about making a difference in someone else's life. I looked at Mr. Perlie, I watched his video, and I'm thinking to myself, every employer would want an employee like that. Because sometimes when you have a challenge in life and you're given an opportunity You treat it with the utmost respect and you go with it. You respect it. You respect the job. So when I came here tonight, I was thinking to myself, what do I want to talk about? I don't want to talk to these people. That's not true. When I heard it was about vocational rehab and about putting people to work, I went to the center today. Oh my God, for those of you who have not gone, you have to get a tour. You have to see what you're doing for people. You can't just donate money. You can't just come here and have dinner with us. You have to know what they're doing for you and what you're doing for them. This is a gift, an opportunity to show God that you respect each and every one of his children on this earth. This is a gift. So when I look into this audience, what do I see? Angels. So how do I say that to you? I can't. I can't say thank you. But I can tell you what I see. See, my eyes are still good. I'm okay. I see that each and every one of you who contribute to make a difference in someone else's life as angels. And each and every one of you have these big, beautiful, white feathered wings on you. And every time you pull out one of those feathers to give to somebody else to make a difference in their lives, you give them the opportunity to grow their own wings. So when I say thank you, I say thank you to God for creating such wonderful angels right here on earth, for giving us the opportunity to succeed and prove, to live the life according to your will and not the will of man. Thank you so much for this evening. Thank you. So much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know what's supposed to happen now.
Wow, Kathy, that was spectacular. Thank you so much. That was a not just inspirational, but powerful message tonight. And I think that we're all so glad that you were here to share that with us, not just the message, but the testimony as well. So thank you so much for being here. All right, we are going to wrap this up here shortly. You probably have seen the Panasonic 65-inch television over here. So it might be good for the next Pirate game if you win it, right? It's also a smart TV, so if you have your tickets, we need you to get those out now. And I would like to invite to the stage right now Miss Barbara Leahy, the Senior Account Manager for Panasonic. We're going to draw that. All right, you ready? All right. Give that a little toss. Let's see what we got here. All right, if I can read the numbers. 566473. We have a winner? Yes, we do. All right, come on up. Come on up. Your name is? Scott Barker? All right, congratulations. You're from? Greenville. All right, awesome. I think, did you need a picture here? Okay, he's good. I can load that up for you if you need me to. Okay. All right, congratulations.
That's incredible. Thank you very much.
All right, we just need to grab that. Okay. Very good. That is going to just about wrap it up. I am so honored to have been here with all of you this evening. Glad to see so many of you back year after year. And we're going to do this, of course, again next year, year number 55, and we already have the date. So mark it down. Hopefully ECU will remember this as well. It is October 1st of 2020. But a special thanks tonight to all of our sponsors for being here, each one of you for being here as well. I can't thank Kathy enough for being here as well in the great message, inspirational message that you provided to us. And Mr. Perlie, congratulations to you as well. Great job. We'll just close by reminding everyone that October is National Disabilities Employment Awareness Month. The theme is the right talent right now, so tell your friends, your family, your colleagues, more people that know about what we do here in tonight's event at ECVC, the more impact we can have on the lives of persons with disabilities who can and want to work in our community. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all next year. Have a good evening.